Hello boys, no boys and girls today because I've watched my analytics and there's no girls watching. This is Daniel, ShowOfForce, aka Jesus, aka kind of feeling like some kind of like rock star singing in this here. And today we have a really sick video because I will give you a clear process for calling down river spots that you can start applying immediately. This is a key topic that makes a ton of difference on your bottom line. So if you find yourself lost in call down spots, this video will solve it. You are welcome. I often see people on my Discord post a hand history, agonizing on a tough river spot, not knowing what to do. Not knowing the right answer in these big pots can get very frustrating, and without a solid process for getting the correct answer there, these mistakes compound easily and can turn a winning player to a losing player fairly easily. A lot of people are turning to solvers for answers, which is understandable in lack of a better option. But I'm gonna say it here, clear and simple. Solvers don't work in these situations. You have to understand that people's ranges are so different to the solvers' ranges by the river that a solver break-even call can actually end up costing you like 4.4k BB per 100 in reality. And I'm not making this up, I'm not exaggerating, I have the sims to back it up. Another problem with checking solvers for answers is you can't replicate the solutions in future situations. By now, it should be clear that you need a clear process that you can bring to all river spots. As people don't play like solvers, we need to adjust to this fact. This is why my approach with poker has always been to blend GTO principles with exploitative ones in a practical, simple manner. Because it's the way you make the most money in poker. For river call downs, we use GTO principles to understand the optimal play, apply them to his ranges, and use exploits to come up with a clear, profitable answer. And we will explain all of that right now. Before we talk about the call down process, we need to set the theoretical framework from which we operate. And we will go back in time to talk about minimum defense frequency, MDF. In short, the goal of a GTO opponent is to maximize EV while remaining unexploitable. On the river, he does this by perfectly balancing his value to bluff ratio according to the sizing he uses. And we will use this table for reference. I think I stole it from Run It Once like 8 years ago. So here with the pot size bet, the bluffs should be 50% of the value range, which is column A, or 33% of the total betting range, which is column B. As an example, if villain bets pot and he has 10 value combos, he needs 5 bluffs to be balanced, okay? Unexploitable. What he accomplishes by this is that he makes our bluff catchers indifferent between calling and folding. So both are zero EV options. Calling and folding are bluff catchers. And this is gonna be already a long video, so I can't go into too much detail. So pay close attention to this part here. This means if our opponent plays optimally, our bluff catching makes zero money in the long run. Yes, even when you call and the pot comes to you, you're still making zero money in these scenarios. And the implication here is that bluff catching only makes you money when our opponent is clearly over bluffing. And then every bluff catcher is plus EV and should be called as long as our opponent doesn't adjust. And conversely, if the opponent is under bluffing, every bluff catcher is minus EV and should be folded. Okay, so with the theory out of the way, we can go to phase 2, the river call down process. And I would probably need maybe a better name for this, but it is a river call down process. So this process has 3 steps. First is like the GTO. Apply in the MDF framework to find optimal value to bluff ratio. Second, range estimation. Count the value combos to find out the bluff combos allowed. And third will be the exploit section where we make correct assumptions to adjust your calling range. And I know this sounds a bit too complex, so we will go step by step, don't worry. We go step by step with a simplified hand history example. So let's say we are in a small blind versus MP 3-bet pot as the MP preflop caller. And small blind just triple barreled us on ace 9 3 10 deuce, and we are sitting there probably sad with a bluff catcher like ace queen of hearts. After briefly wiping a tear from our eyes to see the numbers on the screen, we observe he went all in for 75% of the pot. And now let's start applying the process we just learned. So applying the MDF framework, we know, okay, he used 75% as his all-in size here. And looking at the table we mentioned before, we know the bluffs should be like 43% of his value hands. Secondly, now we count the value combos to find out the bluff combos. And let's say he has the sets 9s, 10s, aces, and half of ace king to keep things simple. And we block some of these with our hand, the aces, the ace king, and we end up like with a total of 11 value combos. To be balanced, what we know now is, okay, he needs to roughly have 5 bluff combos because the sizing he used and the GTO gods. It's time for the first step to call or fold based on our correct assumptions. This is important, and everything so far is kind of cool, but this is where we actually make money. This is the crucial step because it all starts with estimating the value range. This will, as this changes, the bluff combos he needs to be balanced, it will also change. Sticking with the original scenario, he needs to bluff 5 combos for us to have a 0 EV call with our bluff catchers. I'm not interested in calling if I can barely find 5-6 reasonable bluffs. And why is that? Because in the best case scenario, he's balanced, so he has the 5 bluffs, he's balanced, and I make 0 money. The worst case, he is under bluffing and I lose a ton of money on every bluff catch. So I will take a fold, which is 0 EV, and that will be the better play. If I can find 6-7 or more easy bluffs for him, then based on my assumptions, then calling is the correct play as he is over bluffing. So here, let's say he bluffs king queen suited, king jack suited with no spades, because that blocks the missed flush draw. So that's kind of like 5 combos, exactly. And because we also block king queen of hearts with our hand, always think about the blockers, especially in these narrow range spots. And that would mean I would fold. I would fold, like what? Why would I call? If I make, best case, he has 5 bluffs. He can barely have 5 bluffs. And I make 0 money, or I fold, I make also 0 money. Folding is the easiest option. But as you can see, accurately determining the number of value and bluff combos is a key factor here to profitable decisions. And yeah, it will not be like 100% perfect, but still way better than the solvers and way better than just guessing. To increase accuracy in our estimations, we can use information like population tendencies, player reads, hot stats, board structure, and so on. So there you have it. This is the 3-step. I'm gonna just do like the west side from now on. This is the 3-step process I use to determine if I should call or fold in big pots on the river. The goal is to find out if villain could be over bluffing. If yes, I call. If no, I fold. Easy as that. Knowing the size he used on the river and approximating his value range are like great tools to determine this. I know all of this is a bit complex, so at first you will be slow. So here are some action steps for you to implement all of this. First, practice this on hands you already played. So hand histories, do like 30 hands where you get triple barreled and write down this process for each of those hands. And then as you get better at it off the table, start applying it in game. And with enough repetition, you will be able to do this on the fly and make dramatically better river decisions. And that's why you are here for, hopefully, and seeing the rock concert. Of course, if you want to go in even greater detail, like including like other river deviations, seeing the EV calculations with actual sims, blending GTO principles with real life exploits here. If you want to like drastically improve results that way, I will drop a link below to my specialized coaching. And that is all for today. I hope you like this concept video. I think this is the first time I'm doing something like this. I put a ton of time into putting my thought process together for you guys. So like the video, subscribe, comment, let me know if you're gonna use this. Let me know what you think about the video. Until next time, this has been Daniel, ShowOfForce. Peace out.
Yeah, it's the pokers. I play it every day. Got the sturdiest chip stacks from turnies to 6 max. Hate us for nothing. Straight flush or bluffing. Please believe I'll be caking and crushing. Yeah, it's the pokers. I play it every day. Got the sturdiest chip stacks from turnies to 6 max.